For 10 years, Oliver believed he had found the perfect partner, a marriage built on trust, love, and shared dreams. But beneath the surface of their seemingly ordinary life lay a secret so profound it shattered everything he thought he knew. What happens when the person you've loved for a decade hides a truth that challenges the very foundation of your world? This is not just a story of betrayal, it's a story about identity, fear, and the devastating consequences of secrets kept too long. As the truth came to light, the life Oliver and Marianne had built together began to crumble. The discovery forced them to confront realities neither was prepared to face. What started as love and hope turned into confusion, anger, and heartbreak. This story reveals how deeply secrets can cut, and how the weight of hidden truths can lead to irreversible consequences. Through this journey, we will explore not only the events that led to a tragic ending but also the lessons about trust, acceptance, and the human need for understanding. It is a reminder that beneath every relationship lies a complex web of emotions and challenges, and that sometimes the hardest battles are fought within. Before we dive deeper into Oliver and Marianne's story, take a moment to like this video if you appreciate stories that reveal the complexities of human relationships. Don't forget to subscribe to True Crime Dossier for more gripping tales that go beyond the surface. We also want to hear from you. Have you ever experienced a secret that changed everything in a relationship? Share your thoughts and stories in the comments below. Your voice matters, and together we can foster understanding and empathy. Now, let's uncover the events that led to the shocking end of a decade-long marriage, and the lessons that can be learned from a story marked by love, betrayal, and tragedy. Oliver grew up in a community where tradition and clear roles shaped every aspect of life. Raised by parents who valued discipline and loyalty, he learned early on that family and honor were paramount. His world was one of certainty, where right and wrong were clearly defined, and where marriage was seen as a lifelong commitment built on trust and shared values. Oliver's steady nature and dedication to his work as an accountant reflected the principles instilled in him from childhood. He was known among friends and family as dependable, calm, and unwavering in his beliefs. Marianne's story was far more complicated. Born in a small town where conformity was expected, she faced challenges that few around her could understand. From a young age, Marianne struggled with her identity in a place that offered little acceptance for those who did not fit the norm. To protect herself, she learned to keep her true self hidden, crafting a version of her life that would be accepted by others. Her decision to start anew in a different city was driven by a desire to escape judgment and build a life where she could be loved without question. Their paths crossed at a mutual friends gathering. Oliver was immediately drawn to Marianne's charm and warmth, qualities that seemed to promise a fresh start and a hopeful future. Their conversations flowed easily, and the connection between them grew quickly. For Oliver, Marianne represented a chance at happiness and companionship. For Marianne, Oliver was a symbol of stability and acceptance. Together, they envisioned a life that combined their hopes and dreams, unaware of the challenges that lay ahead. Their courtship was marked by moments of genuine connection and shared dreams. Oliver admired Marianne's grace and intelligence, while Marianne found comfort in Oliver's steady presence and traditional values. They spent evenings talking about their future, imagining a life filled with love, family, and security. Their wedding was a celebration of hope, attended by friends and family who believed in the strength of their union. However, the cultural and social environment around them was one of strict expectations. Oliver's community held firm beliefs about gender roles and marriage, where deviation was often met with judgment or exclusion. Marianne, aware of these pressures, continued to guard her past carefully, fearing that revealing her true identity would bring rejection and shame. This fear shaped many of her decisions, including the choice to keep certain parts of her life hidden. Despite the outward appearance of harmony, the weight of these unspoken truths began to influence their relationship. The contrast between Oliver's upbringing and Marianne's experiences created a silent tension, one that neither fully understood at the time. Their story is a reflection of the challenges faced by many couples navigating love amid cultural expectations and personal secrets. As their lives became more intertwined, the foundation of their marriage rested on both trust and the delicate balance of what was known and what was concealed. This balance, however, was fragile, setting the stage for the difficult revelations and conflicts that would follow. The early years of Oliver and Marianne's marriage appeared to many as the embodiment of happiness. Their home was filled with laughter, shared plans, and the kind of warmth that friends admired. They hosted gatherings where Marianne's grace and Oliver's steady presence made them a well-liked couple in their community. Weekends were spent with family, and their conversations often revolved around future goals. buying a bigger house, traveling, and perhaps starting a family. To outsiders, their life seemed stable and full of promise. Yet beneath this calm surface, subtle signs hinted at a growing unease. Marianne, once open and engaging, began to withdraw at times, guarding her privacy more closely. She would occasionally leave the room to take phone calls in hushed tones or offer vague explanations for sudden errands. Oliver, trusting and hopeful, often brushed off these moments as stress or personal matters best left alone. His belief in their bond made him reluctant to question too deeply. Friends and relatives noticed changes as well. Some mentioned Marianne's reluctance to discuss her past or family, while others sensed a tension in the couple's interactions that wasn't there before. A close friend once remarked on Marianne's occasional distant gaze, as if carrying a weight she could not share. Others speculated quietly, unsure whether to voice their concerns or respect the couple's privacy. Despite these hints, Oliver's focus remained on maintaining the life they had built. He clung to the familiar routines and the image of Marianne he had fallen in love with. The psychological strain of ignoring these signs began to grow, though he was unaware of it. The tension between what he wanted to believe and the reality he sensed created a quiet conflict within him, one that would only intensify with time. As time passed, the subtle unease beneath the surface became harder to ignore. Marianne's secretiveness grew more pronounced. She became increasingly private about her daily activities and past, often deflecting questions with vague answers or changing the subject. Oliver noticed these changes but struggled to confront them directly. His desire to preserve their life together made him hesitant to dig deeper, even as doubts began to cloud his mind. Friends and family found themselves caught between concern and respect for the couple's privacy. Some whispered about Marianne's unusual behavior, her reluctance to share details about her childhood or her occasional unexplained absences. Others observed moments of tension between Oliver and Marianne, brief but telling exchanges that hinted at unresolved issues. Yet, no one dared to challenge the facade of normalcy openly. The psychological strain on Oliver grew quietly but steadily. His mind wrestled with conflicting emotions: love and suspicion, hope and fear. The cognitive dissonance he experienced made it difficult to reconcile the woman he adored with the growing sense that something was amiss. This internal conflict created a tension that affected his mood and behavior, though he kept it hidden from those around him. Marianne, too, carried her own burden. The effort to maintain her carefully constructed identity weighed heavily on her. The fear of exposure and rejection was a constant presence, shaping her actions and interactions. This shared silence between them became a barrier, preventing honest communication and deepening the emotional distance. Their marriage, while outwardly stable, was marked by this quiet tension, a fragile balance between love and secrets. It was a delicate dance that neither fully understood, setting the stage for the difficult revelations and conflicts that would follow. One afternoon, while organizing old boxes in the attic, Oliver came across a collection of documents that would change everything. Among the papers were medical records and a birth certificate bearing a name he had never heard before. The evidence was undeniable. Marianne had been assigned male at birth and had undergone gender-affirming procedures before their marriage. The weight of this revelation struck Oliver with a force he had never anticipated, shaking the foundation of his understanding of the woman he had loved for 10 years. The shock was immediate and overwhelming. Oliver's mind raced through memories, searching for signs he might have missed, moments that now took on new meaning. Feelings of betrayal and confusion flooded his thoughts. How could someone so close keep such a secret? Was their entire relationship built on deception? The questions multiplied, each one deepening the ache inside him. Psychologists describe this kind of emotional upheaval as betrayal trauma, a response to a profound violation of trust that disrupts one's sense of reality. Oliver's experience also reflected cognitive dissonance, the mental struggle that occurs when new information conflicts with deeply held beliefs. His upbringing had instilled in him clear ideas about identity and marriage, and reconciling those with the truth he had uncovered was a painful process. Beyond his personal turmoil, Oliver faced the pressure of cultural expectations. In his community, traditional views on gender and family left little room for acceptance or understanding. The fear of judgment, shame, and social rejection weighed heavily on him. This external pressure intensified his internal conflict, making it harder to process the revelation calmly. As Oliver grappled with these emotions, the secret that had been hidden for so long now demanded attention. The discovery was not just a private matter. It was a turning point that would force both him and Marianne to confront realities they had avoided for years. The days following the discovery were marked by a storm of emotions for Oliver. He found himself caught between love and anger, confusion and disbelief. The woman he had trusted implicitly was now a stranger in his eyes. Every shared moment, every promise made, was suddenly cast in a different light. The foundation of his marriage felt as if it was crumbling beneath him. Oliver's internal struggle was intense. Betrayal trauma theory explains how such a deep breach of trust can cause a person to question their own reality and sense of self. He wrestled with the dissonance between the wife he thought he knew and the truth revealed by the documents. His mind sought to reconcile these conflicting images, but the process was painful and disorienting. Cultural expectations added another layer of complexity. In Oliver's community, traditional gender roles were deeply ingrained, and deviation was often met with harsh judgment. The fear of social ostracism and the potential damage to his reputation weighed heavily on him. This external pressure compounded his emotional turmoil, making it difficult to find clarity or peace. Marianne's decision to keep her past hidden was shaped by similar fears. The risk of rejection and the harsh realities faced by those who live outside societal norms had forced her into silence. Her secret was not just a personal choice but a survival mechanism in a world that offered little acceptance. Together, these forces created a volatile mix of emotions and tensions. The discovery was a catalyst that brought years of hidden struggles to the surface. It demanded confrontation, honesty, and reckoning, challenges that neither Oliver nor Marianne were prepared to face. This moment marked a turning point, setting the stage for the difficult conversations and tragic events that would follow. It was a reminder of how secrets, when buried beneath fear and stigma, can grow into forces that threaten to destroy even the strongest bonds. The night was stormy, rain tapping steadily against the windows as Oliver and Marianne faced each other in their living room. The air was thick with tension, the silence between them heavy and unyielding. Oliver's voice broke the quiet, steady but strained. "Why didn't you tell me the truth?" he asked, eyes searching hers for an answer. Marianne's hands trembled, her usual composure slipping away. "I was scared," she whispered. "Scared of losing you, of being rejected. I thought if you knew, everything would fall apart." Oliver's frustration grew, his calm giving way to anger. 10 years, Marianne. 10 years of lies. How could you keep this from me for so long? Tears welled in Marianne's eyes as she tried to explain. It wasn't about lying. It was about survival. I needed to protect myself and us. The conversation became a clash of raw emotions, fear, regret, anger, and desperation all tangled together. Oliver struggled to reconcile the woman he loved with the secret she had hidden. Marianne's vulnerability was clear, but so was the hurt she had caused. "Do you even understand what this means for me? For us?" Oliver's voice cracked, the weight of betrayal pressing down on him. "I never wanted to hurt you," Marianne said softly. "I only wanted to be accepted." Outside, the storm intensified, thunder rolling as if echoing the conflict within the room. The fragile connection between them began to fray, each word pushing them further apart. What had once been a partnership built on trust was now a battlefield of raw emotions. The tension in the room grew thicker with every passing moment. Oliver's breathing became heavier, his hands clenched tightly at his sides. The years of trust and shared memories clashed violently with the shock of betrayal. His mind raced, torn between love and anger, confusion and pain. Marianne, sensing the rising storm within Oliver, tried to reach out, her voice trembling. "Please, Oliver, try to understand. I never wanted to deceive you. I was afraid of losing everything we built." But Oliver's anger was relentless. "Afraid? You should have trusted me. We promised honesty. How could you carry this secret for so long and expect me to just accept it?" Her eyes filled with tears and she took a hesitant step forward. "I was protecting us, from judgment, from pain. I thought if I told you, it would destroy everything." Oliver shook his head, the hurt evident in his expression. "It did destroy everything. You broke the foundation of our marriage." The storm outside mirrored the chaos inside. Lightning flashed, briefly illuminating the strained faces, while thunder rumbled in the distance. The room felt smaller, suffocating as the emotional battle reached its peak. Words gave way to silence, heavy and unbearable. Both were trapped in a moment where love and pain collided, leaving no clear path forward. The fragile bond that had held them together was now stretched to its breaking point. In that charged atmosphere, the confrontation spiraled beyond control. The emotions that had been simmering beneath the surface erupted, setting the stage for the tragic events that would follow. A night that neither Oliver nor Marianne could have imagined. The confrontation, charged with raw emotion, quickly escalated beyond words. What began as a heated argument turned physical as frustration and pain overwhelmed reason. Oliver and Marianne struggled, their movements frantic and desperate. The room echoed with raised voices and the sounds of a struggle, furniture shifting, a vase crashing to the floor. In a moment that would forever change their lives, Oliver lost control. His hand, trembling with a mix of fury and disbelief, struck out. The impact was sudden and irreversible. Marianne collapsed, the weight of the moment settling heavily in the air. Oliver stood frozen, shock and horror washing over him as the reality of what he had done became clear. Neighbors, disturbed by the noise, called the police. Officers arrived swiftly, finding a scene marked by chaos and tragedy. The living room bore the signs of the struggle: overturned chairs, broken glass, and the unmistakable evidence of violence. Paramedics confirmed the worst: Marianne was dead. Investigators began their work with careful attention to detail. Witnesses reported hearing raised voices and sounds of a fight, but none expected the outcome to be so devastating. Oliver, once known for his calm demeanor, was now at the center of a case that shocked the community. The initial findings pointed to a crime of passion, fueled by years of hidden truths and emotional strain. The evidence suggested a man overwhelmed by betrayal, caught in a moment where anger and pain eclipsed judgment. Yet beneath the surface, questions remained about the deeper causes that led to this tragic event. In the hours that followed, the house became a scene of intense activity. Forensic teams moved methodically, documenting every detail, from the scattered belongings to the bloodstains that marked the violent encounter. Each piece of evidence was carefully collected, forming a picture of the final moments that had shattered a decade of marriage. Neighbors shared their accounts with investigators. Many recalled hearing raised voices earlier in the evening, a tension that had seemed unusual but not alarming enough to intervene. Some described the sounds of a struggle, furniture being knocked over, a crash that echoed through the quiet street. The sudden silence that followed left a lingering unease in the neighborhood. Oliver was taken into custody, his demeanor a mix of shock and resignation. Those who knew him struggled to reconcile the man they had seen as steady and dependable with the person now accused of a violent crime. Friends and family were left grappling with disbelief, trying to understand how a relationship that appeared so stable could end in such tragedy. The investigation revealed a complex web of emotions and circumstances. While the physical evidence pointed to a crime of passion, experts noted the psychological strain that had built over years of secrecy and betrayal. Oliver's actions, though condemned, were seen by some as the breaking point of a man overwhelmed by conflicting feelings. As the case moved forward, it sparked conversations about the pressures faced by individuals caught between personal truths and societal expectations. The tragedy served as a stark reminder of how unresolved conflicts and hidden pain can lead to irreversible consequences. The courtroom became the center of intense scrutiny as Oliver's trial began. The defense focused on the psychological turmoil he experienced after discovering Marianne's secret. Expert witnesses testified about the emotional crisis that can follow such a profound betrayal, explaining how it can impair judgment and lead to actions that might otherwise seem unimaginable. They described the impact of long-term deception on mental health and the difficulty of reconciling deeply held beliefs with unexpected truths. Family members and close friends took the stand, revealing the many layers of the couple's relationship. Some spoke of Marianne's kindness and the struggles she faced living with a hidden identity. Others described Oliver as a man who had always been reliable and loving but who had been pushed to his limits by the shock of the revelation. These testimonies painted a picture of two people caught in a tragic situation, each carrying their own pain and confusion. Outside the courtroom, media coverage exploded. Headlines focused on the shocking nature of the case, highlighting the discovery that had led to the murder. The story sparked national conversations about identity, trust, and the consequences of secrets within intimate relationships. Discussions emerged about the challenges faced by transgender individuals and the reactions of those closest to them. Public opinion was divided. Some expressed sympathy for Oliver, viewing his actions as a tragic response to a deep personal betrayal. Others condemned the violence and called attention to the need for greater understanding and support for people living with gender identity struggles. The case became a focal point for debates on domestic violence, transphobia, and societal pressures that influence personal relationships. The trial proceedings revealed the complexities behind the tragedy. Defense attorneys argued that Oliver's actions were the result of an overwhelming psychological crisis triggered by years of deception. They emphasized the difficulty of processing such a revelation within the framework of Oliver's deeply ingrained beliefs. Expert testimony highlighted how betrayal trauma can disrupt a person's ability to respond rationally, especially when combined with societal pressures and personal identity conflicts. Family members shared heartfelt accounts, describing Marianne's gentle nature and the hidden struggles she endured. Some relatives expressed sorrow over the secrecy that had shaped her life, while others spoke of Oliver's steadfastness and the shock that had shattered his world. Friends recalled moments of joy and tension, painting a nuanced picture of a relationship marked by love, fear, and misunderstanding. Media outlets covered the case extensively, often focusing on the sensational aspects of the story. Headlines questioned the nature of identity and the boundaries of trust in marriage. The case ignited debates across social platforms, with voices from advocacy groups, mental health professionals, and community leaders weighing in. Discussions centered on the need for greater awareness of transgender issues, the dangers of stigma, and the importance of mental health support for all involved. Public reaction was mixed. Some sympathized with Oliver's emotional turmoil, seeing his actions as a tragic but human response to betrayal. Others condemned the violence and stressed the importance of addressing domestic abuse regardless of circumstances. The case became a catalyst for broader conversations about acceptance, the challenges faced by transgender individuals, and the societal norms that shape personal relationships. As the trial concluded, the story left a lasting impact, prompting reflection on how society handles identity, trust, and the consequences of hidden truths. The tragic outcome of Oliver and Marianne's story offers important lessons that extend beyond their personal experience. At its core, this case highlights the critical role of open communication in relationships. When fears and secrets remain unspoken, they can create barriers that prevent understanding and healing. Counseling and mediation provide essential spaces where honesty can be met with support rather than judgment, helping couples navigate difficult truths. Rigid belief systems and societal stigma played a significant role in the events that unfolded. Oliver's upbringing instilled clear ideas about identity and marriage, leaving little room for acceptance of differences. This inflexibility contributed to his inability to process the revelation calmly. Similarly, Marianne's decision to conceal her past was shaped by a culture that offered little tolerance for those who did not conform. The pressure to hide one's true self can lead to isolation and despair, increasing the risk of conflict and tragedy. Mental health support and cultural sensitivity are crucial in addressing these challenges. Communities must foster environments where individuals feel safe to express their identities without fear of rejection. Education and awareness can reduce prejudice and promote empathy, helping to bridge divides that often lead to misunderstanding. Support networks for both transgender individuals and their partners can provide guidance and reassurance during times of crisis. This story also serves as a reminder of the dangers that secrecy and fear pose. When people are forced to live fragmented lives, the strain can become unbearable. The consequences are not limited to personal pain but can ripple outward, affecting families and communities. By encouraging openness and compassion, society can work toward preventing similar tragedies. Ultimately, the case of Oliver and Marianne calls for reflection on how we approach identity, trust, and acceptance. It challenges us to question the beliefs that limit our understanding and to embrace the complexity of human experience. Only through dialogue and support can we hope to create a world where truth is met with kindness, and where the shadows of fear give way to the light of understanding. The story of Oliver and Marianne is a powerful reminder of how deeply personal struggles can intersect with cultural expectations and societal pressures. What began as a marriage filled with hope and shared dreams ended in tragedy, leaving behind a complex legacy of pain, confusion, and reflection. Their journey reveals the emotional weight carried by secrets and the devastating impact that fear and misunderstanding can have on relationships. At its heart, this story challenges us to consider the importance of empathy and open dialogue. It shows how rigid beliefs and the inability to accept differences can lead to heartbreak and loss. Oliver's experience highlights the struggle many face when confronted with truths that challenge their worldview, while Marianne's life reflects the courage and pain involved in living authentically in a world that often demands conformity. These lessons extend beyond this single case. They call on all of us to examine our own attitudes toward identity, trust, and acceptance. How do we respond when those we love reveal parts of themselves we did not expect? Are we willing to listen, to understand, and to support? The answers to these questions can shape the quality of our relationships and the health of our communities. We invite you to reflect on this story and share your thoughts. Have you ever encountered a situation where secrets or differences tested a relationship? What did you learn from that experience? Your insights and experiences can help foster a conversation that promotes understanding and compassion. If this story resonated with you, please like this video and subscribe to True Crime Dossier for more stories that explore the complexities of human nature and the lessons hidden within true crime. Sharing this video can also help spread awareness about the challenges faced by individuals and families dealing with identity and trust. Thank you for watching and being part of this important conversation. Together, we can create a space where difficult truths are met with kindness, and where every story is an opportunity to learn and grow.